First dates can be the most nerve-wracking experiences for any boy or girl. There are many factors to think about when approaching a first date with anyone, such as the setting or topics of conversation or even the general plan for the day. One may wonder if they look presentable, if they're talking enough or talking too much, or if they're keeping their partner interested or engaged. Well, all of these ideas will be displayed in the story of my first date. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Neil Patel and this is my podcast. Today, I sit facing the trees and river behind the Student Activities Center to tell you the story of my first date. This is a story that I found to be worth telling because I know that others have faced situations like mine before will inevitably face them in the future. I hope that my story tells people that, while first dates can be frightening or stressful, it is worth taking the step with whomever decides to go with you, as you may just find yourself having a good time and potentially entering a relationship that will change your life. In my past, I have only been in relationships with girls I met online on dating sites and whom I have never met in person. Come early 2019 at the age of 20, my best friend Cara and I were spending some time together at the Menlo Park Mall. We sat down to chat for a bit when we began reminiscing about our friendship. Out of nowhere it seemed, she confessed to me her feelings for me. I was surprised, to say the least, because I have had feelings for her for a long time, but I buried them deep down out of fear of losing a great friend. But her confession changed things for better or worse. After thinking it over for a week or maybe two, I finally came forward to Cara about my feelings for her during a FaceTime call. She was very happy enough to want to tell her mother about it immediately. Lucky for me, her mother liked me and thought of me as a good friend. We immediately started planning a date, without calling it a date. We wanted to take things very slowly, as she had just recently gotten out of a very serious relationship of 3 years. As we were discussing different ideas throughout the next few days, Valentine's Day was quickly approaching. I came up with a dinner date idea for Valentine's Day and Cara was all for it. She missed dressing up for dates, looking extra special for a day for someone and eating nice food at a nice restaurant. I figured I'd give her what she yearned for and give her a proper dinner date. My approach to this date was to show her what a good man looks like. Her last boyfriend did not treat her right and was not a good influence on her life by any stretch of the imagination. I wanted to show her that she deserved so much better. We were a week away from the date and there were still things that needed to be done. Cara wanted to buy a new dress to wear and wanted to get her hair done. I needed to get a formal outfit together and make reservations at our choice of restaurant, Benihana. I also had to make sure she had enough money to pay for both of us because I offered to pay for the whole dinner. I picked out a blue dress shirt, a varied shaded blue tie, and forest green dress pants. I even borrowed a pair of my older brother's dress shoes to match my outfit. As for the money, I took out some money from my student loan refund check I had gotten days prior. Finally, I had to make sure she had the nicer of my two cars available to take out. February 15th was here and, I was nervous. As any young man going on a date would do, I made extra sure she was very presentable and pleasant. I shaved and trimmed my facial hair, I showered just a few hours before the day to be as clean and fresh as possible, I made sure to wear deodorant, and I put on some cologne to smell more attractive. I even used hair gel to maintain my hairstyle, something I rarely do because I usually hate hair gel. I am not a very self-confident person, so all of this felt important to me at the moment. After taking a significant amount of time tying my tie, I grabbed my car keys and left to go on my very first date. I was shaking due to being nervous as hell, as this was a new and scary experience. Too many thoughts were going through my head. What if I fuck up? What if I embarrass myself? What if I embarrass her? What if I say something wrong and ruin the date? What if she wants to kiss me? I've never kissed anyone willingly before. The drive was half an hour long and these self-conscious thoughts did not stop during the entire trip. Hell, these thoughts kept ringing in my head during the day too. I got to Cara's family house and rang the doorbell. Little did I know that her stepfather would answer the door. Cara had mentioned her stepfather before but I had never met him. I was extremely nervous at this point and I even began to panic internally. Shit, now I need to be on this guy's good side and make sure he likes me, I was telling myself. However, rest assured, this guy knew enough about me through Cara to know that I was a good guy. He liked me already and that helped a lot. As Cara was getting ready, the stepfather was telling me that I am a good friend to Cara and that I make her very happy from what he sees. In fact, he even caught her smiling and nearly crying happy tears upon seeing the roses I sent to her prior to the date, which meant a lot to me and definitely warmed my heart. As we were talking, Kara's mother yelled out that Kara was ready and that she was coming down. I could hear Kara telling her younger sister that she was very shy and was nervous that she would trip while walking down the stairs from her room, something that made me chuckle innocently. She slowly descended down the staircase and I was lost for words. Kara wore a beautiful and tight black dress that went down just above her knees, burgundy red lipstick, and burgundy red dyed hair. Her makeup was foundation only, maintaining most of her natural caramel beauty. I don't know what to say, I said to her and her mother as I stared at the angel walking towards me. Everyone started laughing, but not in a rude way, but in a joyous way. Her family liked me for who I was and because of how happy I made Kara as her best friend. The mother wanted to take pictures of us together, so we both posed together and smiled at the camera for a few shots. We both looked shy and nervous as hell in those pictures, but damn did we look good. Our reservation time was approaching, so we had to rush out of the house and head towards the restaurant. Kara was constantly gushing over how nice I looked in my outfit and how handsome I was. I didn't think so, but it made me happy to think that she thought of me like this. As we were heading to the restaurant, we goofed around to try to ease the pressure of going on the date, which really helped. We arrived at Benihana, a somewhat pricey hibachi grill restaurant where the food is freshly cooked right in front of you. The chef would perform various tricks for the customers, like heart-shaped fried rice for couples or silly acts for the children. The performances combined with the delicious food make this the ideal spot for a date. A waitress escorted us to our table. I remember constantly tripping because I was not used to wearing dress shoes, possibly embarrassing myself a tad in the process. We were seated at a table shared by another couple and their child. Kara and I were tremendously excited yet infinitely nervous. I had never been on a date in my entire life and she had not been on a proper date in a very long time. However, as we got to talking to each other and laughing, things quickly looked up for our date. We were having a good time as we watched our chef perform tricks and cook delicious food for the table. Funny enough, we both ordered the same meal, teriyaki steak with chicken fried rice, salad with ginger sauce, and a drink choice of strawberry daiquiri. From the medium well steak to the nicely done fried rice to the deliciously sweet daiquiris, Kara and I had a memorable dinner together. We even shared pictures of our food and drinks to our friends, including selfies, to show them that we were having an amazing time. On top of all of that, with what only be described as pure luck, I did not say or do anything to embarrass myself or Kara aside from constantly tripping while walking anywhere. After dinner, we went back to my car and stayed at the parking lot for about another hour and a half. We talked, laughed, listened to music, and held hands. We talked about the past, the future, our families, and even memories about each other. I told her some embarrassing grade school memories of myself and she told me some of her own, both of us laughing in friendly manner. I showed her some songs I used to listen to constantly growing up over the years and she showed me some of her old favorites. We didn't care that we were burning some gas in my brother's car, we were having a great time. Eventually, it got to the point where I had to get her home before bedtime, as she was getting sleepy after eating all of that food. I drove her to her house, gave her a warm hug, and gave her a kiss on the cheek. She smiled as she carefully walked towards her front door as I watched with a smile on my own face. Once I saw her walk into her house, I drove off, maintaining a grin on my face. As I drove home, I had realized I had never smiled this much since childhood, nor have I ever been as happy as I was that entire day. I felt like I had everything I wanted and more. I felt complete on the inside. So, what happened next? Well, as I mentioned earlier, Kara had just recently gotten out of a long-term relationship, meaning she was not ready to enter another devoted relationship at the time of the date. While I was upset, I am a patient man after all and was willing to wait until she was ready. However, her last breakup was a devastating and impactful one, a breakup that impacted her mental health hardly to the point where she is always feeling upset to this day, many months later. However, there is still hope. From time to time, we discuss what it would be like for us to be in a relationship, to perhaps move in together into an apartment of our own, to perhaps even get married and have children together too. While that may seem like thinking too ahead, the talks always light up our moods and give us hope about our respective futures. The idea of becoming a couple excites us and we do have strong feelings for each other. Of course, your experience may turn out differently. Perhaps the first date does lead to a relationship that starts rather immediately and lasts for a long time. Or maybe the first date doesn't go well and the two of you never speak again. That is okay too, because there are plenty of first dates to look forward to. First dates are always about getting to know one another, connecting with your partner, showing each other a good time, and just enjoying yourselves. Also, despite what I said in my own story, don't think about the date too much. Don't worry too much about your looks or what you'll do with your partner. What's more important is focusing on having a good time. If the person is really into you, they will appreciate you no matter how you look or what the two of you do. Whether it is a fancy dinner date while sporting a fancy outfit or catching a movie in your sweatpants and designed t-shirts, you and your partner will have a blast if you're really into one another. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to the story of one man's first date. This is a story I will remember for the rest of life, and I will always cherish the memories. I also hope that this podcast encourages you to take that first step you've been hesitating to take and ask out that person you're interested in. I hope you've learned to just relax and have a good time on your first date. Signing off.